first, here he is with a Hyundai XL.
If you want proof that Korea is closing on Japan as an auto builder, just take a look at an XL. It doesn't seem too long ago that Hyundai was breaking into the Canadian market with its highly successful Pony. Here we are with a second-generation XL. Our test car was a four-door sedan. You can also order your XL in two- or four-door hatchback form. It's a decent enough example of body styling for a small modern car, but it ends up looking a little like rival models such as the Toyota Corolla or Mazda 323. I was amused to see that the stylists at Hyundai had taken a leaf out of the Mercedes and BMW book by giving the trunk a rounded profile. There's really nothing wrong with taking styling cues from the big boys in the business, and as a result, the car ends up looking quite neat. Our test car was finished in black with a beige interior and looked very different from Hyundai's earlier entry-level car, the Pony. This is an entirely new body design, and Hyundai has done a good job with it. A little while ago, I had a chance to visit the plant in Ulsan, Korea, where these cars are built, and I was impressed with the high level of automation and the care with which vehicles were assembled. It's easier to get of, and its notchback design means that buyers get a fairly useful trunk to secure their cargo in. But when I talk about ease of entry, I don't mean unlocking the doors. For some reason, the key was a poor fit in the locks on our test car, and unlocking the doors was always a real chore. Our XL was powered by a 1.5-litre single overhead cam fuel-injected engine that proved quite potent. Throttle response was very good, and fairly quick starts were easy to achieve. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour times were somewhere in the 10-second range. This is a stingy car to operate, and you should get around 7.5 litres per 100 kilometers for all-around driving. A 4-speed automatic transmission was featured on our test car, and this proved well up to class standards. As a city runabout, the XL is just about ideal. Its power was easily able to handle rapid lane changes and quick spurts into fast-moving traffic. Inside, the car is fairly roomy, and certainly 4 adults can find happiness in its seating arrangements. Tall drivers will like the generous amount of seat travel, a point often skimped over by Asian manufacturers. Unlike most rivals these days, the rear seats do not fold to permit long loads, but there are rear shoulder belts for enhanced passenger safety. Instrument layout is good with clear round dials and a tachometer. Heating and ventilation are controlled by 3 neat dials, rather like those you'd find in a BMW. On the minus side, the radio is mounted too low in its panel, and reaching it is not as easy as it might be. On the road, the car handles very well, and in some ways was a pleasant surprise. Most of this is due to an all-independent layout, but this does not always mean a nimble automobile. The XL packs in a lot of standard features for its basic price of less than $10,500. Included are child safety locks, all-season Michelin tires, reclining front seats, dual outside mirrors, and lots of other good stuff. Most of this car's rivals are higher up the market and will cost you quite a bit more. Careful shoppers in this sector will want to look at the Mazda 323, the Toyota Corolla, the Nissan Sentra, and the Honda Civic 4-door. From GM, there's the Cavalier and its derivatives, and a newcomer to be considered is the Suzuki Swift sedan. From Ford, there are some very good deals to be had in the Topaz and Tempo, and Chrysler's K-cars still threaten at this end of the market. Chrysler also has some Colt and Eagle models competing in this price range. Well, I quite like this, Ted. What do you say?
Well, I like it better than before. It's a lot better in many areas. It's styled better, for one thing. It's still good value for money. The engine is more powerful than it used to be, but this car is still a little unrefined. The engine is extremely loud on the highway. The overall finish of the car is not what it could be, and that manifests itself in highway noise. And it's just not as good as a Japanese car. I couldn't agree with you more, by the way, about those door locks. I mean, they were the most uncooperative door locks I think I've ever experienced. I couldn't get the key into the one that I had. They were terrible.
Well, I couldn't figure it out because I tried to file the things and, use some emery cloth on them and make them fit, and they wouldn't fit. And I tried 2 different cars during this test, as a matter of fact, and they were both as bad as one another. So it was something they have to... And this is important. These details are important. It's a tactile thing, As soon as you walk up to the car and, to buy one, you put the key in and you think, what else? What's the rest of it going to be like?
Exactly. A major oversight. I have to point out that over the years, since since the XL came out, I believe 86 was the first year for it, I have had a disproportionately high number of complaints about the XL. I keep telling people that they're getting better, but the first ones were terrible, but this car doesn't lead me to say that. It's not as well thought out as most of the competition. Any Japanese-made car will blow it out of the water. But the only car that it is better in is your favorite, the Skoda 135.
Well, I don't know. I think the car is quite well made and it runs very well. I particularly like the throttle response. It's quite a quick car.
I did say it was better. I did say it was better. Yeah.
If you look at Korea as a fairly new country as a car builder, compared to Japan, if you look at Japanese cars, how they were after this period of time, they were much, not anything like as good as
yes,
this.
they were. Well, on the other hand, though, Korea has the advantage of someone to emulate. They can look at the Japanese and say, well, they did this, they did that, the other thing. The Japanese started from scratch, basically. I don't agree with your statement anyway, but even if it was true, the Koreans have a reason for being
I don't know whether the Koreans really want to emulate the Japanese other than economically and so forth, but I think that the car is quite... I had some reason to help a friend who's got an XL recently doing some work on it, and I was amazed at how well built it was and how well everything went together.
Well, I'm less crazy about it than you are.
Okay, well, let's sum up here. Things we didn't like about the car was that dreadful door key, the radio location much too low, couldn't reach it at all. We did like the styling, the engine was very good, and the throttle response was excellent, and it's very good value.
We'll be right